I'm really happy. I felt good.
Birmingham, June 7th. The flags were already there. Not one, not a few. Philippine flags draped over railings, tucked into jacket pockets, held up by hands that had flown from Manila, from London, from Birmingham's Filipino community hours before the final began. Sky Sports presenter Gigi Salmon walked into the Edgbaston Priory Club that week and said something that stopped a room. I would say, in terms of her appeal, the crowds that follow her, she might already be the biggest star. Not one of the biggest. So here is the question this video is going to answer. If a 21-year-old from Quezon City is already generating that kind of gravity, the crowds, the flags, the rooms that stop, what exactly does a company like Nike do next? London, the morning of June 8th. The WUTA rankings refresh. Alex Eala woke up ranked no. 33 in the world. The night before, she had spent 2 hours and 38 minutes on a grass court in Birmingham, down a set, saving 3 break points in the final game, clawing back a 5-7, 6-3, 7-5 victory over a player she had never beaten before, not just Nikola Bartunkova, but any Czech player in 14 career attempts on the WUTA Tour. That is not a small number. 14 consecutive losses against one nationality since she turned professional in 2020. She ended it on the biggest grass stage available to her before Wimbledon. Her name now sits in the Birmingham Open's list of champions alongside Billie Jean King, Martina Navratilova, Maria Sharapova, and Petra Kvitova. And here is what nobody noticed in the celebration. The same week, industry sources began reporting that Nike, the brand whose logo she carries across every court on tour, is reportedly in discussions to significantly increase her sponsorship terms. Double, according to those reports. But here is what nobody's asking. Why now? Why Birmingham? What did this particular performance trigger in a boardroom 4,000 miles away in Oregon, West Kensington? 2 weeks before Birmingham, a Sky Sports tennis event in London. Gigi Salmon, the network's lead tennis presenter, was asked directly about Alex Eala's commercial trajectory. Her answer was not diplomatic. She might already be the biggest star, Salmon said. She hits a big ball. She's training at the Rafa Nadal Academy. I think she can go far. Now hold that word biggest. Not the best. Not the highest ranked. The biggest. Salmon was not talking about Eala's forehand. She was talking about what the sport calls a bankable athlete, someone whose presence changes the size of a room before a ball is struck. Here is the number that confirms it. At the 2026 Australian Open in Melbourne, Eala was scheduled on court 6, a mid-sized venue. Fans queued into the thousands. Hundreds were turned away. Tennis journalist Jose Morgado wrote publicly, "Putting Eala on court 6 is just dumb. Not harsh. Accurate." The Australian Open organization had not forecast what she now delivers every single week. When a major tournament can't predict your crowd, you have already outgrown your contract. Now let's be specific, because a documentary owes you the whole picture, not just the highlight reel. Alex Eala is ranked no 33 in the world. She has 2 WTA 125 titles. She has beaten Iga Swiatek, Madison Keys, and Jasmine Paolini. The crowds she generates belong to a player ranked inside the top 10, but she is not inside the top 10. There is a gap, a specific, technical gap between the player she is and the player the sponsorship market is now pricing her as. She dropped 16 ranking spots in a single week in March after losing to Karolina Machova at the Miami Open. 0-6, 2-6. She exited the French Open in the first round this year. She has yet to reach the second week of a Grand Slam. At Wimbledon 2025, she pushed Barbara Krejcikova, the reigning champion, to 3 sets, but she lost. The Butte 125 level, where she now holds 2 titles, is 1 tier below the full Butte Tour level, where the real prize money and ranking points compound. Birmingham is not Wimbledon. Edgbaston Priory is not center court. This is the honest version. A Nike deal that doubles in value is a bet on where Eala is going, not a payment for where she already is. Brands do not double contracts for what happened. They double contracts for what they believe is about to happen. And that is what makes the timing of this Birmingham performance so important. Here is what I want to know from you. By the end of Wimbledon 2026, does Alex Eala reach the second week or not? Drop your prediction in the comments right now. Yes or no, I will read them. Oregon, Nike World Headquarters, February 2026. Eala did not just visit the campus. She walked a hallway where her portrait now hangs alongside the greatest athletes in the brand's history. A portrait on the wall before her 22nd birthday. Nike knows something that the tennis rankings don't fully capture yet. The Filipino diaspora is 10 million people spread across every continent. They travel to tournaments. They fill courts that were never designed for them. They turned a mid-sized court in Melbourne into something a tennis journalist called insane scenes. They brought flags to Rome during the Italian Open, to Dubai during the Desert Swing, to Birmingham for a WTA 125 final on a Tuesday afternoon in England. Here is the global frame. The last time a tennis player generated this kind of diaspora fandom before her ranking fully justified it. The name was Emma Raducanu. September 2021, US Open. Unknown qualifier from Britain. Sponsor deals followed within weeks. Tennis 365 wrote in March 2026 that A-list companies are looking at Eala's story and seeing comparisons to that of Emma Raducanu. The parallel is not perfect. Raducanu's run was a single Grand Slam lightning strike, but the commercial logic is the same. You do not wait until someone is World No. 5 to sign them. You sign them when the crowd already believes it. A columnist in the Philippine Business Mirror captured it this way: Eala isn't only collecting points, she is collecting people, and not only Filipinos. She is collecting anyone who recognizes what he called the moral grammar of effort, the ordinary face of discipline, the unglamorous repeat work, the courage to stand there alone and keep taking the ball. That is not marketing copy. That is what makes an athlete worth doubling a contract for. Nike sells the swoosh to people who believe in something. Right now, a lot of people believe in Eala. Birmingham, June 7th. The flags were already there. Not because she had won. Before she had won, the flags came first. That is the answer to the question we opened with. Nike does not double a contract because a player won a WTA 125 on a grass court in England. Nike doubles a contract because a player's followers arrive before the match begins. Here is my specific prediction. Before Wimbledon ends on July 12th, a formal sponsorship announcement comes. Not rumored, announced, because the grass court swing is the most watched tennis window in the world. And Eala is entering it as a champion, not a qualifier. Now I want to hear from you again. Second week of Wimbledon, yes or no? This channel covers the Filipino tennis movement the way a documentarian would, not a fan account, not a newsreader. The person who noticed what everyone else missed. If that is what you came for, subscribe.